A single call can change the course of history. Today, the leaders of the US and Russia have possibly opened a door to a future shaped by cooperation, not confrontation. Almost 3 years after Russia invaded Ukraine, talks to end the war that has led to the loss of tens of thousands of lives are set to begin. US President Donald Trump announced that he spoke to both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, and both leaders expressed their desire for peace. Trump and Putin had a lengthy and highly productive phone call, discussing the war, agreeing that it was common sense to end the conflict. Trump shared that they talked about the strengths of their nations and the great benefits of working together, but first, they must stop the millions of deaths in the war. Both leaders agreed to work closely and visit each other's countries, instructing their teams to start negotiations immediately. Trump then spoke to Zelensky, who also wanted to make peace, expressing hope for positive results from the upcoming meeting. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had earlier poured cold water on Ukraine's hopes of joining NATO and regaining lost territories. Hegseth stated that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders was an unrealistic objective, and chasing this goal would only prolong the war. Trump concurred that Ukraine joining NATO was unlikely, but mentioned that some land might be returned as part of a peace deal. Before the full-scale invasion in 2022, Russian forces had invaded Crimea in 2014 and backed separatists in the Donbas region. After almost 3 years of war, Russian forces now occupy around 20% of heavily fortified territory in southern and eastern Ukraine. Global market sentiment is likely to be boosted by the prospect of ending a war that has caused global fractures and instability. Heavily sanctioned Russia will also be relishing the possibility that sanctions could be lifted as part of a peace deal. Trump's intervention gives Putin a diplomatic off-ramp and a route out of the war without losing face. Kremlin press secretary Dmitry Peskov stated that Putin backed the U.S. leader's statement that the time has come for their countries to work together. Kirill Dmitriev, CEO of Russia's sovereign wealth fund, emphasized that today's call could change the course of history. Dmitry Medvedev commented that the conversation between Trump and Putin was crucial for a world teetering on the brink of the apocalypse. Ukraine faces the hard reality that the U.S. might ask it to pay a high price for peace, potentially conceding occupied territory to Russia. Yuri Sak, an advisor to Ukraine's Ministry of Strategic Industries, stressed that Ukraine's independence and territorial integrity are non-negotiable. European allies expressed concern about being sidelined in peace talks, emphasizing the need for a just, comprehensive, and lasting peace that includes Ukraine and Europe.